The 2017 budget has a tax levy increase of 2.3%, which equates to $29 per household annually. The report before Council seeks confirmation of this increase. The rate increase for water, sanitary sewer, and stormwater will be brought to Council on November 21st, and we will be requesting decision from Council on December 12th, 2016. So in summary, the budget is staying the course with what Council approved earlier this year, and it maintains the stability of a multi-year budget. It aligns with the strategic plan and aligns with the community needs. It continues to build on initiatives in partnerships with our neighboring cities and brings in operational efficiencies. We will be working in 2017 on additional reports. Based on Council direction, we will be bringing a report whether we maintain, amend, or rescind the corporate policy with respect to the core consumer price index. We will also be working on the long-term financial plan that will address the impacts from the city's asset management plan, which is another report on the agenda today. So these are some of the reports that we will be bringing to Council in 2017. We have also started implementing Council's feedback on the budget process. We have created 3 simple videos to inform the community on matters relating to the budget, explaining the assessment growth, as well as how changes in market values impact individual properties. These have been promoted through social media, and we will continue to implement other improvements as part of the next budget process for 2019. So the recommendation that is before you today is that Council approve the Corporate Report 2016-086 and that Council adopt the 2017 tax increase of 2.3%, which was approved originally by Council on February 8th, 2016. With this, I'm open to any questions. With Cassandra and Philippa.
Thank you, Ms. Patel. Questions from Council? Mayor Jaworski.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. With respect to electricity rates in 17 and 18, to my knowledge, I don't think we have any particular insight into any changes expected by the province on kilowatt-hour rate increases, or do we? Last year, there were a whole bunch of changes effective January 1st that, with a whole bunch of pluses or minuses, that have led to the essential, I think, 19% differential this year.
To you, Mayor Jaworski, through Chair Henry. We're not aware of any changes that will really affect the city. The largest change announced was the PST rebate, but from what has been displayed on the Ontario's newsroom website,
shown on the collage on the screen. This also was one of our most successful engagement campaigns with over 60,000 views, and just shows to serve the importance of active living in our community. Additionally, the LRT station areas are starting to take shape, with staff planning to bring forward a proposed final station area plan in early 2017. So under infrastructure renewal highlights, in 2016, energy efficiency upgrades were completed at various city facilities, including the Rim Park Manulife Financial Sportsplex and Healthy Living Center. RFT 16-01, the Glen Ridge Drive reconstruction, is now substantially complete, and this project includes an asset management component of replacing our aging infrastructure, as well as advocating for additional levels, senior level of government support for infrastructure, as this project was partially funded by the Ontario Community Improvement Fund. And lastly, on the infrastructure renewal fund, the development of a long-term financial plan in 2017 will provide Council with a holistic view of infrastructure funding options available to assist with the ongoing implementation of the asset management plan. And you'll hear much more about that topic later on today as part of report IPPW 2016-099. So under strong community highlights, developing a neighborhood strategy continues to be an area of focus. Work is well underway in terms of defining the city's role in supporting neighborhoods, including the resources and tools the city can provide to facilitate growth of empowered, connected, and vibrant neighborhoods. 100 residents were recently recruited to sit on a resident panel, which will help guide this project forward. The creation of the free, inclusive training park at Bluevale Collegiate Institute through a partnership with Bluevale Collegiate and the City of Waterloo is a great example of supporting community well-being through opportunities for active living. Recently, Council approved the Northdale Streetscape Master Plan in Class EA. This master plan will be used by staff and developers to prioritize, design, and schedule the reconstruction of the municipal underground and surface infrastructure. Made some improvements to how they engage and interact with volunteers and have seen very positive results. This is also a good opportunity for us to once again thank our over 6,000 direct and affiliated volunteers who are the roots of a strong Waterloo. Under environmental leadership highlights, in 2016, Council approved funding for the LED street lighting changeout project. This region-led RFT is scheduled to be awarded at Regional Council on November 30th and will result in an estimated energy and maintenance savings for the City of Waterloo of approximately $420,000 per year once fully implemented. Integrating environmental leadership can be seen through our Green Municipal Fund candidate project, the Pond 53 Retrofit and Beneficial Reuse Study, which is currently in the design stage. This reuse study will determine the feasibility of alternative sediment disposal options and could lead to significant disposal cost savings for future pond and lake cleanout projects, while also reducing landfill contributions. So next is corporate excellence highlights. Waterloo's own Pickup Hub is a prime example of establishing user-friendly channels for increased public participation. To date, the application has been extremely successful, most notably on the adult soccer front, and leisure and active living staff continue to look for opportunities to expand this platform, and I believe have just recently launched it under adult pickup basketball. Equipping employees with the tools to succeed demonstrates the city's ongoing commitment to service excellence. Municipal Enforcement's license plate recognition vehicle is to be activated in the coming months, and will do just that through the use of a camera-based parking control system. This technology will assist with maximizing parking availability, reduce the potential for erroneous tickets, and increase staff safety and efficiency. Utilizing a comprehensive public communication strategy to maximize our reach continues to be another area of focus. Recent highlights include over 3,400 engaged Waterloo visits, over 40,000 Twitter followers, and the continued use of our website, including informational videos such as the 3 budget videos that Keshwar noted earlier today. Under economic development highlights, the City of Waterloo ranked 10th on the Money Census 2016 Canada's Best Places to Live ranking. In particular, Waterloo finished in the top 25th percentile under the categories of low unemployment, high incomes, population growth, easy to walk, bike, or take transit, and strong arts and sports community. Positive media attention such as this continue to market Waterloo as a location of choice. On the sports tourism front, the Ontario Volleyball Championships for 2017 and 2018 have been secured and will be held at Rim Park. The 2015 and 2016 championships were previously successfully held at Rim Park as well. And the Regional Sports Tourism Office bid for the 2021 Canada Games on behalf of the local partners, including the City of Waterloo, has successfully moved on to the short list of bidding communities, with the final announcement expected in March of 2017. The city also continues to look for ways to support the creation of affordable space for early stage companies, and Council approved a 3-year investment earlier this year, assisting with the creation of the Communitech Data Hub in Uptown Waterloo. And finally, on economic development, the city is committed to economic and employment growth, and some recent examples of this include Shopify opening their new office at the historic Seagram building, Stantec moving into the Innotech building in the David Johnson Research and Technology Park, Hockey Tech opening in the Waterloo Innovation Network, Thalmic Labs opening its factory on Rogers Street, and just last week, Costco opening its newest warehouse on the west side of Waterloo. So in conclusion, CAO 2016-009 is being provided today for information, but I'd be happy to answer any questions that Council has in regards to the report or the presentation. Thank you.
So Brad, first, thanks for all the work. I know you're relatively new in the new role in terms of changing responsibilities here, and certainly this gave you an opportunity to connect with all departments around the city and listen to some of the great work that they're doing, and help display that in a concise fashion to us and to the community to showcase where their investment is going in terms of the work that we're doing for our community. Questions, council, for Brad arising from the report? Mayor looks like he wants to say something. Mayor?
Well, thank you very much for this incredibly comprehensive and shows what the team has been able to do over the past year and a bit. I noticed a lot here say have a status of ongoing, and we're going to be going two more snapshots of this strategic plan. I've seen a concept before where we use a red, green, yellow that shows, although they're ongoing, are they on track, are they in jeopardy, or it's come to a complete stop, that kind of concept. I'm wondering if that could be something to be looked at for next time around, or if that would be complicating.
Yeah, so through Chair Henry to Mayor Jaworski, with this being the halfway point of the strategic plan cycle, we kept the report at the objective level, which is a little higher level, and it's kind of along the lines of theme, so engaging with students and advocating for senior level government support. Those will always be ongoing activities. However, for future update reports in 2017 and 2018, we can take it to the next level, which is the example initiative level. And in that case, they're more concrete projects where we could definitely look at a kind of, we'll call it a stoplight approach, in terms of if it's on track or completed, it would be green. If it's falling behind, it would be yellow. And if it's at risk, it can be denoted as red. So kind of some of the other ones I've looked at, I know the region does something similar to that approach. So it's something we could look to factor in for the next update report. So just in terms of numbers, there's 43 objectives versus 65 initiatives. So a good number of those initiatives are covered under this update, but it could be a slightly different approach that we could then provide that stoplight perspective.
Thank you. And just on an anecdotal comment, I think a number of us were at the Marathon of Music on Saturday in Uptown Waterloo. And a person pulled me aside and said, I just want to let you know that we were looking for a place to move from Toronto, and we looked at all different kinds of cities, and we wanted a town with a university, a city with a university. And after we looked around, it was Waterloo that we relocated to. The person beside her said, well, actually, I'm from Mexico. And we did the same thing, looking for a town in Canada with a university, and we came to the conclusion that we wanted to move to Waterloo. Third person, I'm from Timmins. My daughter came down here to go to school, and when we realized all our family was moving to Southern Ontario, we were looking around for a town to move to in Southern Ontario, and we relocated to Waterloo. So it was really a trifecta of Waterloo right there, but I think that's because of all the strategic work, the team here of 600-700 people that really worked hard to making sure this is the right kind of place to live, and seeing the Money Sense magazine ranking, and particularly that of the newcomers ranking, I think, third in the country. I think it just goes to show you that we're certainly on track with the strategic plan, and seeing this data really helps show where we are.
Other comments, council? Anyone find 4 people that moved to Waterloo who? I appreciate the work, Brad, and I know this is just for information. There were a couple of things that stood out to me in the report as well, and you highlight a number of these things, but you didn't capture these two, and these are a bit closer to my heart. One, in terms of our environmental leadership in joining Sustainable Waterloo Region as a pledging partner. The targets that we've been able to hit so far there are actually fantastic. We'd set a 22% per capita reduction target by 2021 and a 6% overall reduction by 2021. And looking on our online website in terms of where those measures sit as of 2015, we'd hit or beat both of them. And this is 5-6 years early in terms of where we're trying to get in terms of the city's emissions on greenhouse gases. We've hit the per capita target and are considerably below on overall GHGs. So that's great. And the one comment I'd have as we think about going forward. Sustainable Waterloo had unveiled a new, broader initiative that took a look beyond just greenhouse gases and started to look at all the other ways that we can become a more sustainable community to build a more sustainable world. And perhaps after last week, there isn't anything more important than all of us really digging in and seeing what more we can do, given we may have lost a partner to our south. On that front. So I'd ask us to explore with Anna Marie and the new Sustainability Advisory Committee that will set up that new program that they've offered in terms of water efficiency reductions and other areas where we can make a difference and see if we can recommit to Sustainable Waterloo's expanded program and not just the program we're already doing very well at. So I'd ask that we think of how we can go further. So with that, this was just for information, Council. If there are no further questions, we can move on to the next item. Thank you very much, Brad. We'll look forward to those items going up on the web in terms of the community story that we're telling. Next up is John Griffin, showing us where we are in our active transportation program and where we're going. And the hint is it's usually not by car, right?
Good afternoon, Chair Henry, members of council. Just want to give a high-level overview of report in front of you, IPPW 2016-017 for information. It's about 5 or 6 slides here, so I'll just take 5 or 6 minutes to go through it. It's really 2017 to 18, actually, the 2-year capital, because 16 is over. So as you can see on the first page, Waterloo is in a position to strengthen our current share of the road status from silver to gold. So we are actively taking key steps to understand what that means and fulfill those key initiatives to obtain that designation. We're using a 5 E's approach that Share the Road has recommended we take: engineering, encouragement, evaluation and planning, enforcement, and education. So our investments are balanced over time, and we're trying to hit on those 5 key areas. So just an overview of active transportation in Waterloo contained in the report. We've adjusted our implementation techniques to make sure we're aligning with our new growth pattern, from past outward reaching trails to responding to new development, to back into looking at our existing infrastructure and making sure we're making key connections across difficult road crossings and things like that. So we're taking a more inward looking approach and making sure we're making key connections to our neighboring municipalities as well. Again, the 5 E's approach, and working with our municipal partners, as you can see in the bottom right hand corner of your screen. The Trans-Canada Trail ties all our municipal partners together: Kitchener, Cambridge, all the townships, and Waterloo. And so that's been a really key piece of linear infrastructure to start having those discussions and trying to get all the committees onto the same page to prioritize the Trans-Canada Trail, certainly in advance of the 150th anniversary, to see if we can make sure it's connected up and improved over time. We are focusing on connectivity as a very high priority, connectivity and safety along a high priority network made up of culturally and geographically significant routes. And it's important to recognize that, as I mentioned, we are working together closely with our municipal partners and continue to build relationships with key stakeholders over time to increase the interest and making sure public health is on board, the region of Waterloo, Kitchener, Cambridge, and all the community interest as well, the committees as well. So staff through the Waterloo Advisory Committee on Active Transportation have created a high priority active transportation network. We'll see this come through for consideration when we update our transportation master plan, likely next year in 2017. Some of the key principles that we've used to create the network is that we're trying to capitalize on existing infrastructure, make those key connections across difficult road crossings and things like that to make sure people can get to their destinations and to sort of each corner of our city off-road without the need for an automobile. The high priority network helps us manage the economics of the system. We don't have to try and do everything everywhere. We use this sort of minimum grid as a way to snap new capital construction to that linear network, so it reduces the amount of possibilities we have to consider. And the committee has sort of endorsed that idea, and it's a help. And it's important to recognize these are culturally and geographically significant routes, so a lot of this network, this web, has sort of started with the Iron Horse Trans-Canada Trail, Laurel Trail, the Walter Bean, Forwell, Doreen Thomas, and the Spur Line. And so once you apply that to the map, it really starts to hook things up, as you can see. Trails outside the high priority network will be rehabilitated over time in partnership with Environment and Parks. We work very closely with Environment and Parks to make sure the rest of the trail system is kept safe, free of trip steps, including sidewalks and walkways. Curb cuts are prioritized through the roads guys. So connectivity and key network enhancements will be targeted along the high priority network, but we're going to try and keep the rest of the network in place. And by way of doing that, we're taking a 50-50 approach to new construction and rehabilitation, so our trails don't fall into disrepair as we advance that new construction over time. Noteworthy success this year in 2016 was we've resurfaced about 6 sections of the Trans-Canada Trail north of Columbia Street. That was a partnership with the federal government. It was a Canada 150 grant. So we were able to advance that construction this year with planning last winter. It was fantastic. The project came in under budget and ahead of schedule, which is great, and the Trans-Canada has benefited as a result. That's the committee's highest priorities, the Trans-Canada Trail, as identified back in 2011 actually, so it was nice to advance that construction along that piece of linear infrastructure. Just some key initiatives, high level across the 5 E's. For the engineering category, we're working on an important relationship with the BIA to expand bicycle parking supply in the uptown. We've developed a request a bike rack program in conjunction with that relationship, so businesses and members of the community can ask us to install a bike rack on their property or in the public right-of-way. We're going to be looking at implementing about 5 bike share stations around town in partnership with Community Access Bike Share. On the evaluation and planning side, we're going to try to build on the 1 million trips initiative and campaign. Last time I checked yesterday, we're at about 1.2 million counts this year for 2016, which is fabulous. And we want to continue that and continue expanding that electronic trail counter program over time within our budget portfolio. Continue working with our municipal partners and the Impact Committee. We've formed a sort of a regional committee that contains a lot of key stakeholders where we can all get together and talk about active transportation on a regional scale. Members of that committee include CAA, the Province of Ontario, Waterloo Regional Police, Public Health, Cambridge, Kitchener, Waterloo, and all the townships. So it's quite a populous committee, and it's great to have those discussions. And a lot of community members recognize that we've started it and have come in to talk to us as sort of a touch point as a starting point. On the education front, we're going to continue partnering with Cycling into the Future to teach grade 5 children how to ride their bike. That's a partnership with Philip Martin, retired teacher. So to date, we're doing about 600 or 700 kids every year, which is fantastic. And so by the end of 2018, we're forecasting to have about 1,490 kids taught in grade 5. That's great news. Planning collaborations and further relationship building with Waterloo Regional Police. We've had many great discussions with them. I'd like to continue to build that relationship and make sure we can partner on things over time because we're both have an interest in expanding active transportation. And want to continue handing out reflective vests, lights, and bells and maps at the special events, the Jazz Festival, Bike Valet, open streets, and things like that over time. So very low cost for high community benefit. So This is just a quick map, an overview of the 17 to 18 capital program. We've got some more wayfinding signage, some more signed bike routes planned. We're going to try and replace all the signage around Walter Bean Trail. They've all fallen, they've all faded, and they're not meaningful anymore, so we're going to try and replace all those in conjunction with the Lexington Street buffered bike lanes. We really see Lexington Street from the interior, from the Water Loop out to University Ave as that key Walter Bean Trail connector. On road, but it still connects people to that trail system, which is great. As I said, more signed bike routes, some trail rehabilitation. We've got trail rehabilitation mixed in there, and we're looking to start a feasibility study for the Market Trail to connect people from West Graham Way LRT station up to the St. Jacobs Market. It's going to take some time to get rolling, but it's kind of using the same model as the Spurline Trail. So we start with a feasibility study, get interested stakeholders on board, including the Region of Waterloo, and move through that process to see what it looks like to how we can build a trail up there. And that's about it. I think I've touched on everything at a high level. So we're trying to strike a balance and try and hit as many strategic initiatives in Council's strategic plan as possible. So if you have any questions, please feel free to ask.
Thank you very much, John. I think this is a great slide to leave it on as well, as that really shows the work plan for the next 2 years. I don't think we can highlight enough just the critical and important potential